I didn't take it off. No, I didn't. Did you manage to drain your knickers? My knickers got wet.
We're all ready.
Hello playmates, playmates. Welcome to the Stratford Experience Show. Here we are on a lovely morning, Monday morning, in Stratford upon Avon. We have a live audience and you'll get some footage of that. And we're right next to the Royal Shakespeare Theatre, or theatres. There's two in there actually. So this is the back of the Swan right here. If you look over to your left, you can see the river right there. We've got some traffic going by and people doing things. We're at the Arden Hotel. So thank you very much to Si, the manager, who let us use this space. I came in, I spoke to him, and I said we wanted to film something about Stratford, and he said, well, let me show you my favourite spot. And this is the spot he showed me, and I thought, yeah, that's absolutely perfect, because we have the theatre in the background, and that says Stratford. It's very clear to everybody watching that we are in Stratford upon Avon. So this is the first go at filming an episode for the Stratford Experience Show, and we're feeling our way. We've got people, the audience are getting coffees. That's great. If anybody gets a bit hungry, we've got some fruit here. We've got a baby in the audience. We've got some people who've seen the posts on the forum in the audience. And I'd also like to mention the crew that have magnetised to this event, this occasion, all due to the Stratford upon Avon forum. So I want to thank Golda Silverman for actually founding that. There are now 27.7 thousand members, I think. Best part of 28,000 members. So I put a very simple post out to say we want to do a new show about Stratford, and I got some interest from people, and we've got now, as a result of that, we've got Henry there and his wife Chris. Henry is from Hong Kong. He's only been in Stratford a year, is it, Henry? Yeah. So he's got some interesting stories about what life was like in Hong Kong through the pandemic and so on, bringing up a young boy is he 6 now, is he? Yeah. Okay. And then we have Chris over behind me here. I don't know whether he's in the shot, but so Chris, we had a lovely chat. He's very interested and he's come along to help out with the cameras and so on. And then we have Philip over here, who's got his camera, and he's taking various capturing moments of the occasion. We've got set up so that the audience can hear what I'm saying through the speakers. So that's it, really. I think that's all I need to. Thank you, everybody, for coming. My mum is here. The Queen is sat there. It would be nice if I actually had somebody come and join me so we could have a conversation. And so I'm looking for volunteers if somebody wants to. My next door neighbour Michelle. Are you game? Oh, well done. We've got a first volunteer. So we're going to have to get you kitted up for the mic, and that's okay. We can film that because that's all part of the thing. But Michelle is my next door neighbour, literally. Next door. Literally. I'm number 6 and you're number 5. And you're very involved in Stratford, aren't you? You even have a key to a rather special building. I know, we'll wait for him to get the sound. Yeah. Wait for them to get the sound on there.
Thank you.
So, when he does, we'll carry on. So we'll probably be cutting some, we're going to cut and use the usable bits, so that some bits from us, so don't worry about it.
So that doesn't give me about 2 seconds then?
So can we hear Michelle? Are we good? Testing, testing.
Testing, testing. We're in the Arden Hotel.
Yep.
Yes.
The weather's
Yep.
been kind.
Yes. Few dark clouds, but they are passing.
And you can see the river, can't you, from here?
I can see the river and
Yeah,
our famous swans.
Yeah.
We have swans.
And we've had a few conversations, haven't we? And every time they've been good.
Passing on the stairs.
Well, we pass on the stairs. We have spoken on the phone, even though we live next door.
We do.
During
We do.
During the COVID,
Yeah.
we talked on the phone, didn't we?
I think that sums up COVID very well. We're in isolation and talk to the person whose door is next to mine.
I know.
Yeah.
A very strange experience.
We survived. We came through it.
We're here.
We're here.
We're
We're here
outside,
today.
so we're safe today, aren't we?
Yes.
So how long have you been in Stratford?
About 6 years now. I'm an incomer.
An incomer.
You've got to be here about 3 generations at least to even get an acknowledgement.
Is that right? Is that
So
what you
how
found?
long have you been here?
Well, okay. Well, what I say is, I have worked, lived, and played, or a combination of those three, either 2 or 3. At the moment, it's all 3. I live, I work, and I play in Stratford for 40 years.
No,
So
you're on the way then. You're on the way.
I'm on the way to qualifying.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
a chap, Roger Bliss, who was born in Stratford, according to him, I qualify as a local now.
Oh,
I'm allowed to stand in the
oh,
road, and cars have to go around me.
I'm impressed.
Yes, it takes a bit of, yes, you have to acquire the title. So what I was going to say was, so I've actually played here on that stage. I've been on that stage, that big stage.
So have I.
Have you? When were you on it then?
Julius Caesar.
When was that?
2 months ago.
Oh, right. what
So,
part?
so I like to put you on the spot.
Oh, yeah, you've upstaged me already, haven't you? Yeah, thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
We'll talk about something else then. Okay, so about six years, you say? 7 years?
About that.
About that. Okay. And where did you come from?
Originally Lincolnshire, but I moved here from Sheffield. And from Sheffield people said, bit posh down there, isn't it? And I said, not knowing whether they were talking about me or the place. I said, they don't know what they've got coming, and they're still recovering.
So what was it brought you to Stratford? Had you visited and liked it, or?
Yes. Stratford upon Avon, the next word is William Shakespeare to everybody. So I can actually say William Shakespeare brought me to Stratford. But to qualify that, my daughter had a job at the RSC.
Okay.
2-year contract, still here after 16, 17 years.
Yeah.
So William Shakespeare is responsible for Stratford having to endure myself being a resident.
No.
Oh yes.
Just blame it on William then.
Blame it on William. Yes.
Well, have you ever? So that's interesting. Okay. And so, do you like it here?
I have actually never regretted once moving here.
Right.
It's got so much to offer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you like about it?
I like the beauty of the place. I am drawn to the river. We've got the movement of the river, the trees, the buildings, the swans. Don't forget the swans.
Oh, no.
Because of tourism, we have so much that this town wouldn't have otherwise. Local facilities are good. it's very central for getting to other places. If you look, there is a great deal going on here.
Yes, and you seem to be you seem to have found quite a lot of things that are going on.
Most people just say it's been nosy, but I don't. I say it's
Yes.
been inquiring.
Do you understand people who say there's nothing to do here?
I understand them,
Oh,
but I pity them because all they've got to do is get out on their feet, open their eyes. It's there to be had if you find it.
right. There's plenty of interests that
There
are
is,
catered
there is.
for.
Yeah.
Now, your interests are period things, I think. Is that right? You seem-
Yes, quite. I suppose that comes. If you live here, you're surrounded
by history,
by mostly the Tudor period.
Tudor period. Right.
And the RSC across the road behind us.
Yep.
World theatre, world class. So I've always had an interest in history, but living here tends to draw you into the Tudor period.
It's interesting you say that because I put it about. No,
Well, do we wish
I'll
to know
rephrase
that on a family show?
I put it about. No. I did publicise the suggestion that a good topic to discuss on the first episode would be education.
Education,
Right.
Yes.
And I suggested some questions that people could ponder on before the show, leading up to the show. And the first one was, what did we learn at school that was actually useful to us in life after school, right? And also the second one was, and what didn't we learn that might have been or would have been? And I was walking around and I thought, a good place to go when you're on this subject would be Shakespeare's schoolroom, or that building.
Yes.
And that was very interesting. I spoke to the main man. I think he's the main man, Ali. I don't know if you don't know him.
The master.
Godon, his name is Ali Godon.
Yep.
Okay. So I recorded a little interaction with him, which was quite entertaining. And he did end up giving me a free pass.
Oh.
Because I was asking him, do locals get a concession? I think it's about £12.50 for an adult.
I think that's right.
Yes.
Yes.
And I said, is there any concession for being a local? And he said, oh, no, we don't do anything like that here. So I said, well, the new place just down on the corner, they do, don't they?
And if you've got a CV37 postcode, you can get an absolutely free pass to go in new place as often as you wish.
Which is brilliant.
Yes.
So I'd like to find out all the places that do concessions for local people. Do you know? Do you know of any more?
No.
Okay. So, have you asked everywhere?
I can think of 2 cafes that,
The other place.
yeah, you get to go.
The other place you can go in for.
Okay, so we've got an audience member who's piping in now, chiming in.
The other place.
Do we have a microphone for them?
No, you don't need a microphone. I don't need. I've got a voice like a foghorn. I'm from the northeast of England.
Will that pick it up, what you just said?
Yeah.
Maybe.
The other place.
The other place.
Yes. It's free for CV37.
The other place.
Yes, the one opposite the Indigo Hotel, which used to be the Falcon.
Not the,
Oh, new place.
This is a new place.
Yes,
It's
what
called the
we,
new
yes,
place.
new place.
because the other place is the theatre, isn't it? Up
Yeah,
there.
okay, the new place then.
Yes.
The new place, yes, that's the one
Did you
I'm
say the new
saying.
place,
Yes.
Michelle?
Yeah.
Did you mention the new place?
I mentioned it.
Oh, you mentioned
Yes.
it. Okay.
Yeah,
we both-
we're talking about new
And you
We
place.
said
both
the other
concurred
place.
on the
All
point
right,
that it's,
okay,
that it's
so
free.
The other place is the new place.
Yeah. All right, you're right.
I mean-
that's not open. Is it?
We're all talking about the same thing.
Yeah, we don't know any, at the moment, in the room, we don't know any other places in Stratford that give a concession for local people.
2 cafes, one at 10% off and one for free coffee top-ups.
Oh, cafes, 10%. Where's
Only
that?
at one, Henley Street. Henley Street.
Which one?
Are we doing advertising?
Well, I think we can. I think we can name names.
We'll name
We'll
names.
Name
then.
names so they're doing good things. Certainly.
So,
They won't mind, will they?
free,
We're publicising the Arden
Yeah.
Hotel.
I didn't get any discount for my drink this morning.
Why not?
Probably we've put all their resources into yourself being here. But in Henley Street, if you are a local and call in at Benson's, you get free coffee tea top-ups.
Free top-ups, yes. What, because you're a local or just anyway?
Just because you're a local.
Really?
Previously it was for everyone. Their expenses have soared with everybody else's.
Yes.
So they now charge for top-ups. They've got to make a living. But if you are a local, they still honour and just give you that little extra as a thank you.
Wow. Do you know how many people are going to be so grateful to you for sharing that one little bit of information?
And if
They'll
you
be-
go a little bit up the street to the Food of Love, talk nicely, being a local,
The
10%.
Food of Love. So the Food of Love
And Benson's.
and Benson's. Now, Benson's do breakfast as well, don't they? I think they do quite
A
nice.
very nice breakfast.
Very nice breakfast. They do vegetarian.
Yes, yes, they do.
They
yes.
do.
Yeah.
Are you vegetarian?
Not in the least.
Okay. Not in the least, he said. Not in the least.
But I do like vegetables.
Well. Well, there we go. I'll meet you there then. Okay. We both like vegetables.
We both like vegetables.
All right, we've got that in common then.
Yes.
We'll focus on what we have in common, shall we? We're neighbours. We both like vegetables.
So we've met in the middle.
And we like a bargain.
Definitely.
I think you mentioned that tourism is why we've got facilities. Could you expand
Yes
on
and
that?
no.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. We have such a range of places to go here.
Well, we have lots of coffee shops, don't we? How many? We've got.
I think we're talking in 3 figures probably if we counted every hotel
Certainly are
and
not.
coffee shop,
We are spoilt for
restaurant.
choice on coffee shops.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we've got all these choices. We've got shops that wouldn't be in Stratford, so we've got the choice of everything. Big names, big high street names.
And you think those wouldn't be there if we didn't have the tourism?
Not as many.
Not as many.
Not as many. We would have loads of boarded up shops. The town would be like any other small market town and dying. The downside against all these, and because we've got the population, we have all the groups that get themselves together, a great social life. The downside against that is cost. Stratford, being what it is it's an expensive place to live. Housing is expensive. Unless you know the places to go, everything else is expensive. Just comes with tourism.
What's the most expensive cup of coffee you've come across? We're just going to look at prices here. What's the price of living? Because this show might be being watched by people who've never been to Stratford, people who might be thinking about moving here. So let's give them a feel for what you're looking at, what you need to bring with you.
I will up it from coffee to a glass of wine.
Okay. Glass of wine then. That gives people a reference, doesn't it? Yeah.
So I have paid in Stratford
Right.
£16. £16 for a glass of wine.
£16.
It was so dark I couldn't actually read the menu before I ordered it. I think that was probably why. But I can also go to another place and get an equally drinkable wine of the same name, same quality, for £5.
Wow.
And that is the difference between tourism in the centre of town
Aha.
and on the edge of town that the locals
oh, I see,
know.
the edge of town, yes. That's interesting. When I visited Italy and noticed that as well. The main drags of the tourist
Yes.
towns were, you know, it was a rip. I mean, it really was like swimming among sharks. It literally was at Avilegos. You go just a couple of streets back.
That's all it needs.
That's
yes.
all it needs. Just go a couple of streets back.
We do the nearer to the centre.
Yeah.
Your lease payment, your rate payment.
Sure.
Everything is going to be twice as dear. So you can see the justification.
Yeah.
It's just when you're the one that's having to pay it.
Well, just on the subject of coffee, because coffee I can relate to a bit more than. Well, not that
I drink
not that I don't
coffee as
enjoy it.
well. I drink coffee
okay.
as well.
But that's when you arrive somewhere. It's like, oh, I fancy a cup of coffee. So where do you go? Well, the Cornish pasty place in Henley Street. Okay.
Yes.
My research has revealed that if you go in there and you take your own cup, you get a discount for using your own cup. So
Yeah.
you're
Yes.
looking at about £2.60, something like that, for a latte, an oat latte, and they fill it full, and we have a nice chat as well. So
coming
that's a
back
pretty
to
good deal.
the coffee and
Yep.
naming names.
Naming names. Yep.
Naming names.
Naming names.
I can go in Marco's Bistro, and
Do you mean the one near the council
Church
offices?
Street.
Church Street.
Across from the
it's
council offices.
Across from the council offices. Yes, I've met.
the man himself,
The man
Marco.
himself.
His name's above the door. Family.
Yeah.
So for about the same price, with a black coffee, I get a little cake as well.
Oh.
Oh.
So that's a good tip then, isn't it?
It's
Well,
one
brilliant.
of the little hidden gems because it's not in the centre of town.
Yes.
It's just on the edge.
Brilliant. Has
Yes.
anybody in the audience got any tips on where to get reasonably priced things? Because some things are just ridiculous, aren't they?
No.
If you go to the Costa place, the new Costa place, I'm going to name names because
Yeah.
the Costa place, they don't give you, by Waitrose, the drive-through coffee place.
drive-through,
Drive-through coffee. They don't give you any discount for having your
No.
own cup. No discount for being a local. So it's £4, ladies and gentlemen, for a cup of coffee at Costa.
Morrison's. Morrison's is cheaper.
Wetherspoons, it's free Bedwars in Wetherspoons.
So Morrison's,
We think is about £2 for a coffee.
really, £2.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that for a latte or just a regular?
The machine. Well, you know that large there's
Yeah.
a few of them on the machine.
Yeah, so you
The
can get
machine.
a cappuccino.
Yeah.
It's
there's
a machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not
okay.
rounded.
I mean, I think for fair comparison, I would say it's got to be freshly ground beans, like a barista type,
Right.
to meet my standards anyway.
Right.
For me to be happy, I don't like the machines.
Yes. My standards are a bit lower.
Morrison's, you only talk to a machine. They don't actually have anyone behind the counter now. You have to tap a screen,
Yep.
pay, and it won't give you a receipt.
Yep.
It's very clinical, informal. It's dead.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Okay. Okay. And of course, the other thing is, Waitrose give you, if you're a Waitrose card holder, which doesn't cost anything, a member, you get free coffee. They just ask you to buy something from the shop.
Yeah.
Buy something, please, and then you get a free coffee. And it's a machine that actually grinds the beans.
All in one, yes.
It is cow's milk, though. They don't give an option for. Well, they've got sachets of oat, but so Waitrose is a regular haunt of mine, because I can walk back home with my shopping and a free cup of coffee, and that's great. And sit on a bench and enjoy the day. So I do that quite a bit. So okay, so I think that's enough about bargains around Stratford. But yes, you, that's the sort of money you need to come with. You wouldn't know about petrol prices because you don't have a car, do you? Like me.
No, I walk.
Neither of us have cars.
I was just been saying, I do have a bus pass, but
Okay.
But I lied about my age to get it.
I bet she said she was under 30. Under 30. You shouldn't have qualified for that.
Not back to 18.
You lied about your age to get your bus pass. I mean, when do people lie about their... Well, you only lie about
If
your
you
age when you're
believe
a
that,
teenager
Peter.
and you want to get into a pub or
Yeah.
buy some alcohol.
I keep trying to get people to challenge me to go into a pub, and they won't.
Okay. So you lied about your age to get a bus pass. I'm just trying to get my head around that one.
Do you believe that? Really?
Well, you'd said it. It came out of your mouth. Is it?
Well, of course I would
What
say
do you quite
it.
believe it? Well, how old do you have to
You're
be?
now beginning to regret asking me up here, aren't you?
No, not at all. We can edit most of it out. That's fine.
We're back to the 2 seconds I'm going to get.
Yes, thank you. Nice to meet you. Goodbye. Okay. Now, I've seen you. Yes. No, walking. That's an important thing. 'Cause
I walk.
the great thing about, for me, living in Stratford, living in the town, is that I can walk to everywhere I need to walk to.
Yes.
I don't need a
easy,
car.
So easy. Yes.
And as I am, I'm very, I'm quite passionate about the environment, not for the fun of it, but because we do need a healthy environment for us to be healthy. So, we're living beyond our means. So I do as much as I can to live lightly on this one and only Earth that we have.
Okay.
Our only home, forget Mars, that's never going to happen. Ridiculous if we go somewhere else and mess that up.
Yeah.
I think we should learn to take care and live in harmony.
Yeah.
Take care of and live in harmony with one planet to start with before we think about going anywhere else. Don't you?
Yes.
You agree with that? You agree with that? Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah, definitely.
So I like being able to walk everywhere, and for me that's like a lifestyle. It takes longer, and people might, I must get in the car and drive down the Birmingham Road to go to Tesco's. But of course, if they do that, they're adding to the traffic, aren't they?
You could probably actually walk that journey quicker as well.
On some, yes, it's quite funny when I pass a car when I'm walking, and then
Yep.
I could almost beat them sometimes
Yes.
up the road.
You just have to maybe plan a little more, but
Yeah.
not to really
No,
to that extent.
I can understand if you've got a job where you've got to be,
Oh yes. Then you've got commitments that. Yeah.
and if you literally haven't got the time. Then I can understand. And what I like about having the time is that you can get your exercise. I don't go to a gym. I can just get my exercise by doing the things I need to do.
Yes.
So I walk to Waitrose, and then I fill up all the bags. So I've got quite a weight, and I carry that back.
Yeah. Downhill, coming back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I can sit on a bench, and I see people going by, and I have interactions.
Yeah.
Because we see each other occasionally,
We
don't
do,
And
we
have a
do.
little, and it's all that's what life is about to me, is having out playing with other people,
Yeah.
having a nice time.
Yeah.
You know, and it isn't just, we're not just talking about the weather, are we?
Oh,
when we
no,
talk?
no.
We talk about some quite...
interaction is so important. It's more and more with technology. People don't need to go out. Everything's phone, laptop.
Yes.
So even just the work experience, working from at home, which
Yes.
greatly came about through the pandemic.
Yes.
Much quicker, it probably would have done anyway. So people
yes.
are getting more isolated, even though they can be in touch more.
Yes. I know, it's strange, isn't it, that we're more connected than we ever were
Yes.
with wires and
Yes.
satellites, and yet we're probably more distant from each other and nature than we've ever been.
Especially with nature, can walk down this river, it changes every day. It's constantly on the move.
Yes.
But people actually sometimes walk down there and see nothing.
Yes. I know. We've had some really good conversations, haven't we, about all these kind of things. Yes. To me, a river epitomizes or symbolizes life.
Yes.
Because it's always flowing. It's
Always.
always flowing. It may look up this end, it may look sometimes like it's not moving. And yet if you go down to the weirs, or I call them the waterfalls. People say, oh, it's a weir. Well, I see it as a
poetic.
waterfall. It sounds like a waterfall.
It does.
It's
Very much.
a beautifully romantic spot.
And you've
it's
got
a
the
very sweet spot.
turbulence and
Yes,
the colour and...
That's right.
Yeah.
The sound that
Yes.
sound that waterfall produces.
Yeah.
It's white noise, I think, is the electronic equivalent, and it seems to just clear everything.
Yes.
You know, in your field.
Yeah.
If you're feeling a bit, you go and sit there for a bit, and it just seems to.
Yeah.
It definitely does something for you. I think anyone who goes and sits there of an evening, particularly because you have the sun coming round there, don't you?
It comes just through beautiful. The trees.
Yes,
and,
yes.
Yeah.
And even though Lucy's, well, you can't, where I sit, you can't see Lucy's Mill, but you know, it's all become rather lovely now with the vines or whatever it is, the plants up the side. So it's all, nature has kind of, nature just makes things beautiful, doesn't it? Eventually, give it time.
Just leave it to its.
Leave it to nature, and nature is a master artist. It just does its own thing when you leave it to it, and it always creates beauty. It always creates beauty. So, never creates ugliness, unlike us human beings. We create quite a lot of ugliness, don't we?
Even though when the river's in flood, it's quite aggressive the way it does things.
Yes.
So, but it's still got its own beauty in the flood. It's just the natural cycles.
Yes. When I was living on the big island of Hawaii, I lived there for 3 years. I went for 10 days, but I ended up staying for 3 years.
Immigration, oh no, you can't get out unless they tell you.
Well, yes, there's a story to all of that. Nevertheless, I managed to stay there for 3 years, and one of my experiences was of a tornado, I suppose, coming through the property where I was living at the time, which happened to be 2,000 feet up the side of a volcano, an active volcano. The lava came down the other side, fortunately.
Fortunately.
So that was good. And this big tornado twister thing came through, and it was ripping roofs off of houses, so whole roofs of metal, corrugated iron and timber framing were being hurled up over 60 feet. These ohia trees were very tall, so easily as tall as that tree there, and the whole roof was lifted right over the top and landed in our yard where we were staying. So that was the power of it,
Yeah.
and yet no one was injured.
Very lucky. Very lucky.
Well, it was interesting, wasn't it, that no person or animal was injured except one, okay? And this one was a cow that was on the next property, and someone had chained it up.
Oh,
So it couldn't
run.
move to where it, obviously all the animals knew they had to move to.
Yeah.
Yes?
They've got the instinct.
They got the instinct, they know where to go.
Yes. Yeah.
But they were restricted,
It's chained.
and a branch had obviously come down and knocked one of its horns off.
Oh, and it bled to death.
Well, it didn't bleed to death.
Oh.
You're dramatising now.
If you see
exaggerating my story.
if you see a horn come off,
This is what
the
happens. You
blood
tell someone and they
pumps
just add a
out.
bit.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. All the wild chickens and the cats and the dogs
Yeah.
and everything, and the people. No one was injured. So nature, although it was ferocious, this thing was ferocious. The power of it, the sound of it, I've never heard anything like it. It sounded like a 40-foot tall freight train coming through.
Just boom.
And trees just
Gone. Yeah.
like out of a movie or something. What it was.
Yeah.
So, you know, when allowed to follow one's instincts, everything seems to work out. Nature did its thing, what it needed to do. And of course, high winds do sort of take care of dead parts of trees, doesn't it? It's just nature's way of
Does. Yes. Yeah.
clearing things.
Yeah.
You
Not
know.
needed. Gone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And when it rains, of course, that's great because everything needs water. So, you know, nature's amazing and wonderful, and however it was created, whatever's behind it, whatever intelligence is behind it, it is pure genius.
No. Pure genius.
Pure genius.
Absolutely. We can't comprehend what it does.
I mean, imagine the kind of intelligence that created us.
Sometimes you think it was a bit misguided.
A bit irresponsible. Well, we've certainly seen the extent of our creative powers, haven't we?
Oh yes. Yes.
We've sent man to the moon, allegedly. That's your cue, darling. Sent man to the moon. Allegedly. And we've created these very powerful weapons. We also created the internet,
Yes.
which is, and of course this show will be going out via thanks to the internet, which I watched, I witnessed being born,
Yes. Yes.
and it was something that I dreamt of.
But you sort of, then when it did arrive, yeah. What a step forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that everything that's being, it's a tool, isn't it? It's a wonder. I see it as a wonderful tool because if we can share really good information, information that actually does something for us and uplifts us, heals us, empowers us,
Yes.
facilitates us
Yeah.
coming together in that we see
Yeah.
what we actually have in common rather than focusing on our differences.
Opens so many doors.
The whole world is connected now.
It is. Yeah.
So when this show is published, we're filming it right now, and when it gets to be published on YouTube, anyone in the world can watch it if they're allowed to. If they're allowed to, that's the only thing.
There are some places.
There are some places. Well,
Yes.
Henry, of course, comes from a place. Did you have censorship over there? Some? You're not allowed to say. Oh, right, okay. for fear of reprisals, all the way over here. You're in England now. You're okay. We'll defend you if they come.
I think you are not safe anywhere from some countries.
Is that right? Well, yes. Yes, really? Well, I don't want to hear about that. Okay. I don't want to hear about
Hawaii isn't one of them. You're all
Hawaii,
right.
no.
You
Hawaii,
escaped. You're all right.
yes. Hawaii, a beautiful place.
Yes.
And they had some really, really, well, good ideas and very effective ideas and practices for living in harmony with nature. Absolutely brilliant.
Is
Absolutely
it
brilliant.
true it is the spam eating capital of the world?
What now?
Yes.
Where did you hear that then?
On the internet.
On
of
the
course.
internet. It's the spam eating capital of the world, according to the internet. Well, I didn't see much spam consumed when I was there.
Lucky you.
So I've been there. Have you been there?
I've never been.
No, so you're-
I only know from the internet. Good or bad.
Yes. Well, you see, this is where we have to be careful, isn't it?
Yes.
If we're talking about another place, then we really should have somebody who's actually at least been there. Yeah. Shouldn't we?
And you never saw spam.
And I didn't see any spam. I don't know what it's like today.
Oh, it's been since the GIs gave the locals tins of spam.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, they had this system that was really very well evolved and and it worked. One of their core principles was everybody eats. Now that isn't really saying. Well, it's saying both. Yes, we have this in common. Everybody here, I think, eats, right?
Yeah.
We all have that in common. And theirs was also saying everybody eats. Okay, so nobody is left hungry, which I think is a lovely
It is.
principle.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a core principle of breaking bread, caring, looking after.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, if you have someone come into your house,
Yeah.
you know, well, we've got some things here. Would you like a banana, by the way? No.
I will take one for lunch as soon as you've bought them.
Yes. This is for the monkeys.
All right, I don't want them. But I'll hand them out.
Right. Well, if you're hungry, see, we've got food there. Straight away, we've got food.
Yeah.
But that's what you do if you have
That's
a
what you do.
party.
Yes.
You say, well, they want something to drink. Do you want a cup of tea? Would you like a cup of tea?
The first
first thing.
greeting. Yes.
In England,
Come
is,
in.
would you like a cup of tea?
Yes.
So that's a very English thing. And then, when it gets near lunch, would you like something to eat? You want to make sure you know that being fed and watered is part of being comfortable.
It's the sharing, the giving of life.
Yes.
Bread is life.
Yep.
You share, you
Yep.
give,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you should actually get an inner return to yourself. Just to
yeah.
make that gesture,
Yeah.
you benefit.
Have you ever been hungry? Have you ever ever been in a place where you're actually hungry? You know, you haven't got food?
I have
Yourself?
had one period in my life where I was hungry. I had
Yeah.
enough food to sustain, but that was all. So, yes, I have experienced hunger.
Yeah.
Not people saying, oh, tea's in an hour, I'm hungry. No, I have experienced. And yes, it is quite an experience to absorb.
Yeah. And did you have money to buy food at that time?
It's very, the amount I had was not sufficient for my needs.
Yeah.
So the food was absolutely basic
Yeah.
and not enough.
Right.
But I survived that period, came through it.
Yes.
It's quite a sobering experience to do.
Yeah.
To actually know somebody else is suffering that,
Yeah.
but to actually suffer it yourself
Yep.
does really, really make a difference.
Now in Stratford, we've just celebrated, I think, Philip, you were there, 10 years of the food bank.
Yes.
You were there, weren't you?
Yeah.
So I'm speaking the truth, aren't I?
And it's 18 months since the Fred Winter Centre opened.
And 18 months of the Fred Winter Centre being open, which is a lovely development, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's got its downside, but people find it Fred Winter Centre. It's not just for the holidays. Very important people, weekends,
Is the camera picking up Philip talking? No, I mean the sound. Okay, and the picture as well, that'd be good. Yeah, that's good. This is an important subject.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's not just vulnerable people who are homeless, it's community. I've done traffic lines, back streets, residential performers, art, open mind. I do events group there. Mine. I think Stratford is a type of place. I think Michelle knows it. We're like volunteers giving things back, aren't we? Because if they need volunteers, we're here, aren't we? I think Stratford needs more volunteers. But yeah, what you do is you can. You have your house, you have to do your time. That's what everybody thinks.
Yeah. I'm thinking you should come and sit here. Maybe in a minute.
I think so. Well, I think I've sent you up enough.
Well, just quickly though, do you? So you can relate to people who are short on food.
I can. Yes, I absolutely can.
It's not a fun experience, is it?
No.
It's not something you
No,
dream of, or you save up for, or
and probably
go on holiday and have a starvation holiday.
No. The food they are getting is not good food. It's price. So even though they are getting, it's
That's
some of
very
it
interesting too.
is not good food, but it's all they can afford.
The people that are buying it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Because McDonald's will do a burger for £1 or something.
Yeah.
Is that the best nutritionally? Is that?
But it's £1. That comes first.
I've been in that
Yeah.
place myself. McDonald's
dear,
sustained me in Hawaii.
You've got
in
out
Hawaii,
two places. You've
McDonald's
got out
sustained me. Not very well, but it did.
But, yeah,
At least
it just sustains.
At least it stopped me being miserable because I at least had something in me.
Yes.
I had that sensation of I've eaten something. Because when you wake up in the morning and you haven't got food and you haven't got money to buy it or not enough, it's not a great start to the day.
No. It defines what your day will be.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. And even your brain doesn't work. If you haven't got the right nutrients, your brain doesn't work properly. Yeah. You can't think.
No, you're slowed down.
You're slowed down.
Yeah.
You're a bit befuddled.
Yeah.
You're not in the best place to even communicate.
No.
What you need.
And then it's so easy.
Let alone
then
go for a job interview.
Drop off the scale altogether.
Yeah. Well, there's talking about food not being of a great quality when you can, if you have got some money to buy it. There's also, I'm aware of a group in Stratford who are trying to do something to feed people. Stepping stones are the group. Okay. Now, we sampled some of the food. We brought it back home.
There is a Can Centre now doing street
Well, that's different. The Ken Kennet is a different one, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's new in Spencer.
That's a new thing, isn't it? So that might be.
Zero. Actually,
Yes, I've watched that. I've watched that.
brilliant food.
I haven't been there yet, but I'm aware of it. What I have done is been to Stepping Stones, who work out of the United Reformed Church on Rother Street. On which days? Do we know which days it is?
Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes on Saturday. And then what they're doing on Thursdays, they're doing, on the Friday, they're going to the Centre. And hopefully we'll not do soon.
Have they got a place, a permanent place yet? They were looking. They're kind of moving. They're couch surfing at the moment, aren't they? They haven't got a permanent base.
They HR staff, but that went down to us.
Right. Now, we did make an observation, and it's. I hope it is taken the right way. But we brought some food home, and it wasn't appealing to us, was it? We didn't. We thought, okay, it's food, and if we were really hungry, perhaps we'd have it. But we chose not to finish it. We had a little taste of it. We chose not to finish it. Now, again, I think this is probably to do with money.
Cost.
Yes.
But if you're hungry, we'll eat anything.
It's true.
Yes. I'm slept rock.
It's true.
I'm slept rock. Hit rock bottom. And I tell you what, eating a sandwich and bowl of soup. Really desperate.
Well, yes. Now, something that we were trying to pilot when I had a go at organising the festival over there was a soup kitchen. Because I make a mean soup, apparently, don't I? A mean soup. And you know, you can make a soup that's really nutritious.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
So it has organic ingredients, which I think is important. You know, if we're going to feed people like a charitable thing, let's feed them good food. Let's feed them the best food. You know what? Because they probably don't need any more chemicals in their body. Organic ensures that it's the least likely to have things like that in. And then lentils.
Yeah.
Well, that's vegetarian, of course, which is my. If I'm going to feed somebody, I'll feed them vegetarian, because you can get everything you need from a plant-based diet.
Yeah, all you need.
There is no need.
Diet.
You don't have to. We don't have to kill any animals to survive. We don't have to.
No.
You know, I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm just saying I've been vegetarian for 17 years. I'm 62 years of age. So I haven't exactly faded away, or yeah. So there we go. So well, that's great, isn't it? Thanks very much indeed for coming up and playing. You're the first. You're a good sport.
Thank you so much,
Very
Peter.
good sport.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Can I say to all your people,
That camera. Which camera is it? Which camera
This
is
one.
the close one?
This
one there.
So,
Okay.
all you people watching, I think the term is subscribe. Subscribe to the channel.
Like and subscribe.
This is gonna roll on and be so much, and if you subscribe, I guarantee you'll not get me every week. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Wonderful.
I forgot.
Break the gear.
Sorry, I totally stood up and forgot.
I can feel the soft caresses of your lovely hands, your lovely hula hands. Every little move expresses so I'll understand all the tender meanings of your hula hands. Fingertips that say aloha. Say to me again, I love you, lovely hula hands. Kolimanani, Kolimanani, Kolimanani. That was the warm-up, that was.